Have you ever wondered that how does the open price is estimated or calculated for any stock? Is it the first trade of the day or is it something else? The answer to that lies in the pre-open session. Now, pre-open session is basically a 15-minute period starting from 9 a.m. in the trading day up to 9:15. It is divided into three parts, which is called as order collection period, order matching period, and a breather or silent period. Now, the intention to have a pre-open session is to make sure the chances or probability of market manipulation is reduced substantially. Before the pre-open session mechanism was implemented in the market, which is NSE and BSE, the first trade used to be the open price of a particular day. For the market participants, the open price is utmost or we can say relevant for them. Now, how does this pre-open session works? Let's look at the mechanism. So first of all, the first 7 to 8 minutes follows the order collection period where orders can be entered, modified and cancelled. So a trader or market participants using their broker, that could be any of the member of NSE or BSE, they can enter their trade position with a limit order, open order. Now, once a random closure happens between 7 to 8 minutes, the market transitions to order matching period. So in this stage, the all the orders are actually arranged in a schedule which is called as demand and supply schedule. In that schedule, the order is matched and a price point is identified where the maximum quantities can actually be traded. And the price point where the maximum orders or quantities can be traded is considered as equilibrium price. And that is referred to as the opening price for the day. Now, this order matching starts somewhere between the after closure of 7th and 8th minute, which is somewhere around 9:07 to 9:08, and it stays up to 9:12, which is up to 9:12. Subsequently, a 3-minute breather or silent period, sometimes also called as cooling period, is used, where nothing happens, market freezes. Now, the moment this 3 minutes is passed, which is 9:15 is crossed, the normal market starts. And that's where the regular trading begins. Now, what is the purpose for this pre-open session? It's actually to eliminate the probability of market manipulation. But how is it done? Let's look at this particular schedule. Matching period, the orders are collected from the first phase of the pre-open session. Let's take the example that the share prices at which the orders has been placed is 103, 104, 105, 106, 7, and 8. Now you will have a buy order book and sell order book, and they are just presented for the illustrative purposes. Now, after this, a demand and supply schedule is prepared. How is it so? If you take a closer look at 108 price point, there are 4,000 quantity buy order is placed. The demand schedule says that at 108, there are total of 4,000 buyers. At 107, absolute 5,000 quantity has been placed. And when we look at demand schedule, it is 5,000 plus 4,000, making this 107 to be 9,000 to be as a demand. Now, the question turns out to be why this is 9,000. Think for a moment. There are two participants in front of you. Both of those participants want to buy the shares. One wish to buy at 108. The other party wish to buy at 107. And let us say if the exchange has all the sellers who are willing to sell the shares at 107. So at that point, the buyer who wants to buy at 108 would be happy to actually buy the share at 107, which for that buyer is a lower price. So that is the reason at 107, the demand schedule is basically including all the demand at 108 price point. Similarly, at price point of 106, if the buy order is 6,500, it includes all the buy order at 106, 107, 108. So 6.5K, 5K and 4K total is 15,500. and so on and so forth. And when we look at 105, we find this as 12,000, which is making 27,500, including 104 of 9,500, making it 37,000. And finally, at 103, the total demand in this situation is 50,500. Now, when we look at the sell side, which is basically the supply schedule part, and when we look at a seller who has placed to sell the share at 103. Now, at that point, if the market is able to give that seller a price point of 104, the seller who was wishing to sell at 103 would be happy to sell at 104. Why? Because seller wants to sell at a higher price, as buyer wants to buy at a low price. So for the seller who intended to sell at 103, and if the market is able to get a relatively a better price, the seller who wants to sell at 103 would be happy. So that is the reason when you look at the supply schedule at 103 level, you find this 11,500, which is same as the sell quantity at 103. But when we look at 104, it includes the 9,800 sell quantity, making this total of 11,500 plus 9,800, 21,300 of the supply schedule. Similarly, the sellers at 105, all the sellers at 104 and 103 would be included at 105 price point, making this at 36,300. Subsequently, at 106, we have 48,300. At 107, we have 60,800. And 108, we have 69,300 for this particular case. Now, what happens by looking at this schedule is that maximum tradable quantity is identified at each and every price point. Now, at 103, the demand is 50,500, whereas the supply is 11,500. So, actually, the total number of trades which can be executed at this 103 will be 11,500. Now, what about 104? At 104, the maximum tradable quantity would be 21,300. So basically, at each and every price point, the lower side of demand and supply schedule would be considered as the maximum tradable quantity for that price point. So look here, 11,500 for 103, 21,300 for 104, 27,500 for 105, 15,500 for 106, 107 it is 9,000, and 108 it is 4,000. Now, when we look at this particular column, which gives us maximum tradable quantity, the maximum tradable quantity is at 105, which is 27,500. So this will be considered as the equilibrium price for this particular day or for this particular order book. So this eliminates any specific, or this eliminates, or at least we can say reduce, the market manipulation. So imagine a cartel or a small people who wants to manipulate and try to do the first trade at an abnormal price, giving a relative giving a wrong picture of the stock. That part can be eliminated because they will have to have necessarily a very high demand or supply at that specific price point. So I hope you are clear with the equilibrium price determination and how the open price is calculated. If you have any question, drop that in comment box. Thank you for watching the video.